The Hungry Elephant by Amelia Green. There was an elephant named Polly. Polly liked to explore. One day she found 2 apple trees. Polly was very hungry, but she wanted to save some of the apples for her friends. So Polly looked for more apple trees. Then she saw a whole grove of apple trees. Polly ate a few apples off of one tree, and then she waited for her friends so they could all eat. Polly and her friends really liked the apples. They decided they wanted to plant all of the seeds from the apples. Then they would always have enough food. We Go Camping by Brayton and Wright. When we get to the camper, we get our bags out of the car. First, we eat lunch outside on the deck. Then we do a couple things until dinner time. We play, relax on the couch, and have snacks. When we get back from our golf cart ride, we play. Kendra and I ride our bikes in the gravel by the camper. Now Grandma makes us a yummy dinner. After dinner, we have a fire outside with Grandma and Papa. My sister Kendra and I get ready to go visit Grandma and Papa at their camper. Mom comes too, because she has to drive us there. We love her. Papa always takes us for a golf cart ride. This is my favorite thing to do. He takes us all over the entire campsite. We see a lot of campers, flags, the pool, the beach, people, and some dogs. He takes us to the market. Last, we go inside and we put on our pajamas. Grandma puts a movie on for us and we go to sleep. It was the best day ever. I love going camping. I cannot wait until I get to go to Grandma and Papa's camper again. The Brightest Star by Brayton Ebert. One day Emma, the lonely star, went for a walk in the sky. Emma saw stars from school, James, Josiah, and Nick playing basketball. Emma wanted to play. James, Josiah, and Nick said,
No way!
You are a girl.
You can't play.
Josiah said,
You are ugly. Go away.
Emma walked away crying. Emma went and sat on a cloud and cried. She looked at a book about basketball. The bright star, Emily, was watching and came over to Emma. Emily, who looks different than the other stars, asked Emma to play basketball. Emma said,
No, you can't. You look weird.
Emily said,
Watch me.
Emily amazed Emma with her basket. Just by watching, Emma found out that Emily was very good at playing basketball. They played the game together and had lots of fun. Emma knew not to judge anyone by the way they look, and the mean stars did too. Emily and Emma became friends for the rest of their lives, and they had fun. Emma was no longer lonely and shined like the brightest star. Ice Cream Party by Gus Lastiko. There lived 2 little kids named Gus and Millie. They lived in an ice cream castle. The castle had 2 sprinkle towers, 2 ice cream windows, a waffle cone door, and a chocolate flag. One day, they decided to make a giant ice cream sundae. They scooped strawberry, vanilla, and Gus's goofy grape ice cream. Gus and Millie had to use a ladder to put the cherries on top. The sundae was too big to eat by themselves, so they invited some friends. The friends had to bring their own spoons. Some brought 2 spoons. When they were done, only the dish and spoons were left. Yum, yum. The Zoo Party by Stella Charles. Once upon a time, cheetah, elephant, and giraffe wanted to throw a party. They wanted to celebrate being at the same zoo with all of their friends. They wanted the party to be full of decorations and balloons. However, Giraffe's sister Anna did not want to have a party. She did not like the mess of all the decorations and did not want to have to clean up. Cheetah, elephant, and giraffe didn't know what to do. They wanted to change Anna's mind. They invited Anna to help them plan the party and made sure to tell Anna they would make sure it would not be too messy and they would help clean. Anna liked that she was involved in the party planning. They made invitations, blew up balloons, and hung streamers all over the zoo cages. The day of the party, all the zoo friends arrived, and everyone had such a good time. All the animals danced, listened to music, and ate yummy food. Cheetah, elephant, and giraffe were thrilled with how the party turned out. Anna loved the party too. She realized that the party was worth it, even if you have to clean up in the end. Meet Pubble by Mia Rose, a.k.a. Amelia Ard. There is a green bunny named Pubble. She lives in an enchanted forest where animals wear clothes and have many colors. One day, Pubble was bored because she had nothing to do and no one to play with. She went into the kitchen where her mom was doing dishes. Pubble said,
I want to go to the park.
Her mom said,
Okay, let's go.
When Pubble was at the park, she made a new friend, a fox named Jerica. She was the color of a red poppy. They played on the tire swings together, made flower crowns, and pretended to be flower princesses. Soon it was the afternoon and Pubble was hungry. So was her new friend. Pubble invited Jerica and her mom to join their picnic. Pubble's mom packed a picnic basket with lettuce, carrots, and spinach smoothies.
Spinach smoothies, my favorite.
Said Pubble.
My favorite too.
Said Jerica. They looked at each other and started to giggle. After they ate, the girls played for a long time until it was time to go home. Pubble was happy that she made a new friend. She was very glad. She hoped they would play together again soon. All About Bones by Declan Flaherty. The human skeletal system is very fascinating. There are 206 bones in the human body. Without bones, we would fall to the ground. The longest and strongest bone is the femur. It helps us stand and run. The ribs are thin and flat. They protect the heart and the lungs like a shield. There are 29 bones in the skull. Only the jawbone moves. The others protect the brain. Bones need help from ligaments, tendons, muscles, and joints to do their jobs. Ligaments connect bones to other bones. Tendons connect muscles to bones. Muscles give the body strength. Joints hold bones together and allow us to move. The shoulder joint lets us move our arms so we can swim. Bones need calcium and vitamin D to grow and stay strong. Weak bones break easily. X-rays give a picture of bones. A broken bone is reset and casted to heal. It takes 3 months to heal. The most common bone to break is the clavicle. Babies are born with about 300 bones, but we only have 206 bones. Bones grow together as babies grow. I hope you learned a lot about bones. The Missing Color by Annunziato Muro. I woke up on a frigid, freezing, super extremely cold Sunday. I flew out of bed since it was the weekend. I wanted to play outside, so I peeked out my window and couldn't believe what I saw. My neighborhood was missing its color. It was only black and white. I had to find the missing color. I went outside to investigate. I found a great discovery. There in my yard was an object, robot, well, maybe an odd machine. Not really sure. Its sign said Color Catcher 2XT3000. The color catcher was capturing all the color everywhere. I had to stop it, so I grabbed all the brightest colors from my house. I found violet, fuchsia, peach, gold, teal, fire red, emerald, and so on. I took those colors to attract that robot machine, and it was destroyed. The robot thingy couldn't handle the overload of color. It was an explosion of rare, coolest, bright bunch of colors ever. So the captured colors exploded back to where they came from. My work was done. I saved all the color until I heard my alarm clock beeping, and my dad said it was time to get up for school. What? Natural Dye Fun by Reese Steffen. Have you ever got strawberry or raspberry juice on your clothes? It stains really bad. These dyes are from nature. They are from plants, fruits, and vegetables. I am going to show you what natural dyes can do to your clothes and fun things to do with them. Guess the vegetable that dyed these. Clue, clue. It's leafy. It's purple. Answer, red cabbage. Guess the fruit that dyed these. Clue, clue. They're small. It's a berry. Answer, blueberries. Guess the fruit that dyed these. Clue, clue. It's red. It looks like a blackberry. Answer, raspberries. Guess the vegetable that dyed these. Clue, clue. They make your eyes water. You need to peel them before you eat them. Answer, red onion. Guess the plant that dyed this. Clue, clue. It keeps grown-ups awake. The beans grow on plants. Answer, coffee. Guess the fruit that dyed these. Clue, clue. You have to take off the top before you eat it. They are very juicy when they're ripe. Answer, strawberries. Conclusion. It is true that natural dyes can stain your clothes, but you can also use them for fun projects. Projects: dye eggs, tie-dye shirts, dye frosting, dye paper. How to make natural dyes. Put natural item in a pot with water and simmer for 1 hour. Soak fabric in just the juice for 24 hours. Rinse off the fabric and lay them out to dry. Reminder, even if you use the same natural dye, some fabrics can look different when you dye them. Here are the fabrics in the book: woven, lace, cotton, flannel. Bonus question. Guess what natural item dyed this piece of silk? Answer, blueberries. Now you try it. Super Saki, Part 2. Super Saki Gets Married by Joaquin Manzano. When we last saw our superhero Super Saki, he was saving a whole bunch of missing socks at the school.
Oh,
Said Super Saki.
I should use my new Super Saki walkie-talkie to call a Super Saki helper. Help, help, this is Super Saki. I need some help at the school. Over and out.
Miss June, the Super Saki girl, flies in to help Super Saki and the missing socks at a school. Super Saki was in love with Miss June.
He said, ever since I saw you in the Super Saki Academy, I've always loved you.
Then Super Saki pulled out a ring that he always carried with him, waiting for this day. Super Saki said,
Will you marry me, Miss June?
She said,
What? Yes!
And so Super Saki and Miss June got married. They went to Hawaii for their honeymoon. Miss June said,
Do you know what? There are not too many socks to save here on the beach.
Then Super Saki said,
Well, except for those dudes wearing socks with their sandals.
Suddenly, a man eating a double-decker sandwich runs up to them. A small, squeaky voice says,
Help, help! I can't find my buddy.
A sock on the man's right foot needed help. Super Saki and Miss June find the missing sock buddy swimming in the ocean. Mr. and Mrs. Super Saki saved lots of missing socks together. On their 1-year anniversary, Miss June said,
We're having a baby.
Super Saki fainted. The Nasty Seagull by Charlotte Domon. I was on vacation with my family in Rhode Island. It was a beautiful sunny day, not a cloud in the sky. The car was packed and ready to go. We were driving to the beach to have some fun. Welcome to the beach. It all started on the beach. We found a nice sandy spot to set up our stuff. Dad set up the umbrella while Mom made us put on sunscreen. It was too early to eat our picnic lunch, so we played in the sand. While we were playing, a family near us was eating their lunch. The boy waved his sandwich in the air. Suddenly, out of nowhere, a seagull swooped down and took the sandwich. The boy started to yell,
Come back here, bird!
It was too late. The seagull was long gone. I had never seen anything like it before. A few minutes later, the boy came over and asked to play. He told us about the sandwich incident. We were all still shocked. We got hot and decided to go swim in the cool ocean. We swam and splashed until we saw the boy come into the water waving his hands. He told us our area was attacked by hungry seagulls. We raced back to our spot. I said, Sheesh! Those dirty birds were back at it. They were munching on our chips. We shooed them away, but the bag of chips was completely ripped open. Luckily, our sandwiches were safe in the cooler. Don't feed the seagulls, thank you. We learned on that day to always protect your lunch, don't feed the seagulls, and never forget your days at the beach. The Mailman and the Talking Birthday Card by Evan Kildew. Once upon a time, there was a mailman who delivers mail to everyone every day. One day, there was a liquid potion in his truck. When he parked his truck and it came to a stop, the potion fell into a piece of mail. The mailman picked up the mail he was going to deliver and put it in his bag. But he did not notice that the potion spilled onto the piece of mail. He picked up his bag and started to deliver mail. When he arrived to his third house on the block, he heard a voice say,
Deliver me.
The mailman looked around and said,
Who was that?
He didn't see anyone. The mailman heard the voice again.
Deliver me.
The mailman checked inside his bag when he noticed the piece of mail was talking to him. The mailman asked,
Who are you?
The mail said,
I'm a birthday card.
The mailman asked,
How are you able to talk?
The birthday card said,
Something fell on me and I came alive.
The mailman asked the birthday card,
How can I help you?
and the birthday card said,
I think I was put into the wrong mail bin, and I am trying to get to California for a birthday.
The birthday card asked the mailman.
Can you deliver me to California?
The mailman said,
Yes, I can.
so they both got into the truck and drove back to the post office. The mailman put the birthday card in the right bin that was flying out to California. The mailman was happy that he could help the birthday card get to the right place. So they said goodbye to each other, and off the birthday card went to California. The Great Ocean Adventure by Emory Kennedy. There was once an 8-year-old girl named Alyssa. She lived in a town called Surfside in sunny Florida. It had sandy beaches, calm waves, and lots of seashells. Alyssa loves to play at the park on the beach. One day, after playing at the park, Alyssa spotted a mermaid lying in the sand crying. Alyssa walked up to the mermaid and asked,
Are you okay?
The mermaid replied,
My mom is really sick, and she needs sea lettuce to make her feel better.
Alyssa said,
I can help you find the sea lettuce. Wait here. I will go home and get my snorkeling gear. By the way, what is your name?
It's Emory.
said the mermaid. Alyssa runs down to the beach and dives into the water. She grabs hold of Emory's tail and they swim deep into the ocean. During their search for the sea lettuce, they spot an orange octopus with 8 tentacles and a big brain, but no sea lettuce. Next, they spot something glowing in the distance. They swim closer to find a purple and blue jellyfish with 100 tiny tentacles, but no sea lettuce. Emory and Alyssa started to feel like finding the sea lettuce was hopeless. Emory says,
What's that over there? Looks like it could be the sea lettuce.
The two girls swim up closer to a pile of rocks. Alyssa says,
It's the sea lettuce.
Then from behind the rocks comes a great white shark. The girls scoop up the sea lettuce as quickly as they could and swam back to shore, leaving the shark behind.
Do you think this is enough sea lettuce to help your mom feel better?
I'm pretty sure. Thanks for all your help. Let's play tomorrow.
A delicious Tradition by Callum Morrison. I love to pick the apples that grow in our orchard, and I love to make applesauce out of them with my grandma and grandpa. On a sunny fall weekend, my entire family goes out to pick apples. Some of us pick from the ground or a stepladder. My dad lifts us up into the tall parts of the tree using the bucket on his tractor. We sort the apples as we pick. Some apples are set aside for eating. Some apples are bumpy and knobby. They don't look like they would be good for much, but just because something doesn't look perfect doesn't mean it isn't good. I like these ugly, bumpy apples the best because I know they will get turned into applesauce. Turning all these apples into applesauce is hard work, but my grandma and grandpa are good at this job because they have been working hard their whole lives. First, the apples are washed. Next, everyone who is old enough to use a knife sits around the kitchen table and cores the apples. We cook the cored apples until they are soft. Next comes my favorite step. My grandma scoops the warm, soft apple mixture into the top of a machine. Then it is my special job to turn the handle around. The skins and seeds come out one side of the machine, and the nice pink applesauce comes out the other. Then my mom puts the applesauce into jars. We work for hours. Finally, me and my brothers and sisters line up for bowls of warm applesauce. It is delicious. My grandma says that every year that you wouldn't think these ugly, bumpy apples would amount to so much delicious applesauce. I like this tradition because I like spending time with my grandparents. I like knowing that someday I will teach my own kids how to make applesauce. The Weekday Surprise by Ella Shafer. I woke up on a regular Wednesday. I walked over to the living room where my mom was exercising. "Good morning, Ella," she said breathlessly. Suddenly, my mom's phone dinged, so she paused to check her email. Smiling, she asked my little brother Seth to read it out loud. It was from our principal saying that school was canceled. Snow day! We all cheered. Mom made a special breakfast of puffy oven pancakes with butter, honey, cherries, and strawberries. Delicious. After breakfast, we bundled up for the snow. I noticed that our playground slide pointed to a slope in our backyard. That gave me a great idea. I put a sled at the bottom of the slide. Seth and I and my little sister Claire took turns sliding down, plopping onto the slide and sledding down the hill. Whee! After a while, Claire wandered over to a small pile of snow by the deck. I thought it was the perfect place for a tunnel. "Duck!" Seth yelled as he shoveled piles of snow onto the tunnel, nearly covering Claire and I in the snow. We were sparkly snow sisters. When we were done, Claire crawled through first. Then I followed, squeezing through on my belly. Mom came and took pictures with our glittering snow creation. We went inside to warm up.
Ella, snack time.
Mom made cream-filled donuts with a chocolate glaze. Donuts on a weekday. Wow! I was in the middle of giving Claire a dance lesson when Dad came home from work early. He doesn't get snow days. He grilled our supper out in the snow while Seth, Mom, and I played Foursquare in the dining room. After supper, we read stories and played games by the warm, cozy fireplace. While I laid in bed, I thought what an exciting day I had had and hoped there would be another snow day. Soon another blizzard came to Wisconsin, and another, and another. But that would take me forever to tell all those stories. Farming Past to Present by Carson Giroux. Did you know that farming was very different many years ago? For starters, a farmer would milk 25 to 30 cows. Now dairy farmers have a herd of at least 150 to 200 cows, maybe even more. Back then, most of the population was farmers. Nowadays, only 2% of the population farms and produces food for the nation to consume. As for equipment back then, there were not many options for machinery, and many farmers used horses to work the land. Now almost every farmer has many different sized tractors to do all the different jobs on a farm. Barns were common for housing the farmer's 25 to 30 cows back then. Now barns aren't big enough, and farmers use large sheds for their animals to live in. The number of acres a farmer runs has even changed. It was common for a farmer to only work the land they owned around their home back in the day. Now farmers own and rent land all over the county and drive their tractors many miles on the road to get to the fields. Even the seed farmers use has changed through the years. Farmers used to keep the seed from the fall harvest and plant come spring. Now farmers buy their seed from a dealer. Today, hybrid seeds yield more bushels to the acre. Harvesting has become much more efficient over the years as well. Back in the day, a farmer used a 2-row head on their combine to harvest the corn. They could only harvest a little each day. Now they use huge draper heads and 12-row corn heads to make the job quicker and easier. They can harvest a large field in one day. As you can see, farming is done on a much larger scale than it used to. But the one thing that hasn't changed is they are still family-owned. All farmers work hard to bring the most affordable and healthy food from their farm to your dinner table. What Should I Write About by Addison Matthews. What should I write about? Zoe pondered this thought. I need one that will have an entertaining plot. I could write about a princess who lives in a great big house, or a small brown cottage fit for a mouse. What about animals frolicking in the Milwaukee Zoo, or playful gray dolphins jumping in the ocean blue? It would be exciting to write about the fun I had at camp all week, or a giant hairy tarantula, my biggest fear. Eek! It could be thrilling to describe an adventurous kid who finds a map, or Crazy's silly latest rap. Maybe it would be funny to say how my little brother is such a pest, or perhaps a brave knight who was on an important quest. Oh my gosh, I got it! I've been saying it all along, I cried out. My clever topic will be, what should I write about? Pyrrha's Greek Mythology by Pyrrha Jordan. Hi, my name is Pyrrha. I love Greek mythology. There are so many things in Greek mythology, gods, goddesses, heroes, and monsters. It's so fun to learn about them and their stories. I shall tell you about some of them. Athena, the goddess of wisdom, war, crafts, and the best weaver on the planet. My personal favorite Olympian. She was a great weaver. One mortal, Arachne, thought she was better than Athena, so she boasted. They had a weaving contest. They both made a tapestry. Athena won. Then she turned Arachne into the first spider. Life tip: don't boast that you're better at something than a god or goddess is. Apollo, the god of poetry, music, prophecy, archery, and the sun. I shall tell you a tale about Apollo. Once Apollo insulted Eros that his bow wasn't as strong as Apollo's. So Eros shot Apollo with a gold arrow so that he loved a nymph named Daphne, but he shot her with a lead arrow so she hated him. Apollo chased her, but she didn't love him, so she tried to outrun him. She called Gaia to save her, so Gaia turned her into a laurel tree to escape. Life tip: don't insult a god or goddess. Apollo insulted Eros about his bow, so he shot him with a gold-tipped arrow, and the nymph with the lead-tipped one, so she hated the god of the sun. The nymph became a plant that has roots below and filled Apollo with lots of sorrow. I love Greek mythology because my friend Ollie told me to read the Heroes of Olympus series by Rick Riordan. I finished the first chapter, then I realized that it was connected to the Percy Jackson series, which Ollie had told me about before. My brother Kitsa told me to read the Percy Jackson series first. I finished it quickly because I was in Thailand and there was no Wi-Fi, so I just read. I continued reading books by Rick Riordan. Now I have read over 5,000 pages. Funding provided by EdVest. Special thanks to the Betty Bryn Children's Museum and the Kiwanis Club of Greater Milwaukee.